Hello, world. We're back for another episode, and today we're out visiting Aunt Katie's community garden. And we took a class yesterday, and the presenter, Mr. Jackson, he invited us out to view his community farm and to speak and let his story be heard about how this came about. And we're gonna walk, and he's gonna talk and introduce himself. And you're gonna get to see the whole layout. And then when I tell you this is a beautiful place, and that this is why we wanted to blog our experience in farming, because there's so much going on in the community. And this is, if you want to talk about revolution, I understand, the fist and all that, but also when you talk about revolution, you have to talk about sustainability. And nothing, no matter what you do, because you can be angry at whoever you want to and do all that, but that's not going to change your circumstances. But food will. You need food to survive. Really, to be able to bring a community together, you have to be able to feed yourself. And this is the model that could be used all over America in all communities. Now, this is in the heart of the urban community. It's inside of the community on his family's property. He was explaining that to me before, but I'm glad we stopped the conversation so he can explain it in totality on the video. But I know I'm rambling on, which I normally do. But first thing I want to show you this area where anybody from the community, this is open to the public. This is open to the public completely. This is a non-profit organization. This is really about the community and not about a person trying to come into the community and extract the wealth out of the community, but come into the community and place back into the community. And so, show the picnic area where people can come, baby,
Right.
and we'll begin. And let him
Okay.
start telling.
How you doing? I'm Michael Jackson, the executive director and co-founder of the Du Bois Institute, Aunt Katie's Community Garden. And so what you're seeing here is my outdoor classroom that is also a gathering place for the community at large. So anyone can come to the garden and bring a picnic lunch, or churches can have a Bible study out there, or a whole conduct meetings here. And all I ask is that they make a donation to the cause. But we've been around since 2010, and I also would like to take this moment to apologize for the mess. You've caught us in the middle of construction. We have a new building coming up front that will feature what we do best. Imagine being able to learn how to grow and immediately take it inside to a kitchen, make something to eat, and then take that memory home. That will create lasting impression for the young folks and families that we work with here. So if you got questions for me, I'm ready to jump into it
Yes,
whenever
sir.
you are.
Yes, sir. I just want to take a walk around and speak frankly for the camera to be able to hear. We
Okay.
just like our farm, we like to do our videos organic. We don't like to script our videos
Okay.
because we want people to get a real sense of who you are and what you're doing out here. And so this is the first thing I noticed when I came out here. When we pulled up to the side, and we saw the construction. But when I looked over here, this changed my outlook on what my farm could possibly look like in the future. And so I would like just to explain this
What's going on?
concept. Yeah,
Okay.
this concept here.
What we have here is a modern concept of raised beds. And this is the community garden area here. And we rent these 4x8 beds for $35 a year. And so when a person or family comes, we will give them a planting plan, and then encourage them to come back and forth and to grow what they like. Most folks ask, well, what should I grow? I have to ask them, well, what do you like to eat? You don't really want to grow anything unless you're going to eat it. It defeats the purpose to grow something based on what somebody tells you. You have to have a taste for what you want to grow. So here, folks can come and then they can go home, but they leave it to our care, like a caretaker. So we'll water it, we will look out for pests and provide them with guidance and encourage them to come back. So the when the beds are ready, or at least ready for harvest, we would encourage folks to come back and enjoy what they have provided. Now, this is a cooperative urban farm and community garden here. What do I mean by that? That means that everything in the garden is for sale. Now, some folks are very particularly about wanting to harvest and eat what they're growing in their beds, but some folks will say if someone comes and they want to buy something and you want to sell something out of my bed, you can do that. And when that happens, I give those folks a credit where they've actually made a little money from the enterprise of farming because we grow high value crops. And what we can do is step over and look at a couple of beds.
Yeah,
Like
that's
this
perfect.
one. This one is a senior citizen. Obviously, she likes greens, so we got some tomatoes in there for her, some peppers, some collards, some cabbage collards. There's also some kale in her bed, onions, that you see here. And let's step over to another person.
Now, with everything that's being grown here, is everything grown here non-GMO?
As best as I can keep it. I try to watch my seeds. And so typically most of my seeds are heirloom seeds, and which means there should be non-GMO.
Now, for the people who don't know what GMO is, can you give a definition or an explanation? Because some people who might watch this video or come across it
Yeah.
might not know what GMO is. Can you explain to them what
Well,
that?
GMO is genetically modified organisms, and you see that mostly in commercial growing these days. Most of the corn that you eat these days, most of the soybeans, the beets are used for making white sugar now. Most folks don't know that. Um, those items have been genetically modified to say be resistant to Roundup, so to speak. So I know you've seen a field full of corn, and all you see is rows and rows of corn, but you don't see no weeds. That means that because those seeds have been genetically modified to resist Roundup, they can go out and spread Roundup everywhere. And the only thing that will grow is the corn. And the same is true with soybeans, with cotton, with peanuts. And the question is, what happens to me when I eat that? Now, according to the industry, everything's okie dokie.
But we know about that.
But here we're not a certified organic farm, but we are naturally grown. That means we use the same kind of organic methods as an organic farm, but we're just not certified to do that. Now, if we should at some point graduate to some level of organic operations here, it's going to require some different efforts.
It's going
Absolutely.
to community support. It would have to be because of the now what most people don't know, because just like us, if you're watching this video, you're just being introduced to farming. You're not quite farming yet. But if you're interested in this type of material, then you're being swayed and looking at, hey, what is farming all about? That's why you're watching this video. So we want to explain to you about organics. Now, to get an organic certification, of course, it costs money.
Yep.
Because it costs for a person to come out and do the proper inspection. You have time is money. If you've ever heard of that, this is the case with certifications. People's time costs money. And so with that, when you have a community garden, which is an urban garden, it would be something that the community would have to want to co-opt into.
Right.
And he also has a program where you could pay a certain fee and you could just come get food from the garden. Instead of going to your grocery store, you'll pay a flat rate for the was it for the year?
Community supported agriculture is
Yeah.
what that's called. CSA is like what we like to develop too. But what I meant by the organic part, if I wanted to get organic certification, I've already been farming here in what might be considered non-organic methods. So they would want me not to even do anything here for a certain amount of time so that I could qualify to be organic. Now, if I add a tunnel house, like you see behind you here in the empty lot beyond there, and I put I actually put a concrete surface, and then I put soil that I bring in on top of that, then that could be qualified as certified organic. But it just the fact that I've already been using this, you need to start with virgin land if you're going to start an organic farm. But as you can see, I already got stuff growing out here, so this doesn't won't necessarily. It would take me a little while to get this certified organic. But that's what I meant by by being a little difficult. The cost would be made up because that means that my prices will have to go up.
Yeah.
Because it costs a little money to not only get the certification, but to maintain the organic certification has a cost factor to it.
And those costs do add up.
Yes.
So keep that in mind when you're farming. At first, like this is something that if you're a beginning farmer, then you have to knock this out of the bat. You have to say, hey, you're gonna have to make a sacrifice now for the future. Because if you start farming now, then later it's going to be hard to get the organic certification.
Yeah.
So you have to get that stuff done up front, which we're taking care of. We're making sure to get that portion of our farm done up front. I also want to show because we don't like to do our videos more than 30 minutes. I would like to show the demolition job being done up here.
So I also grow fruits for kids to come in and be able to just eat them like you grew up. Kids it's very rare for them to have an opportunity to just walk somewhere, pick up something and eat it. So in this area here, you got strawberries and raspberries, pomegranates, figs, blueberries that they can just eat while they're here. You like to eat it and you don't necessarily have to wash it because we don't use any kind of harsh pesticides here and we don't use a lot of synthetic chemicals. You can kind of munch on something without washing it off.
And that's awesome. I gotta tell you, and this is something that's true. Only 2% of America, not just America, 2% of the world is growing the food for everybody. So the chances are that anybody is going anywhere to pick something.
I'll also point out herbs, both medicinal and culinary herbs are available here of about 30 different types, from rosemary and lamb's ear. We actually convert that to the leaf to dry leaf that folks make teas out of. Lemongrass, rosemary, parsley, fennel, mints of all description. But here's our little construction project here. We will come back with a small multi-purpose building which features a kitchen. And the kitchen we'll use for individual cooking and canning classes, and also for group canning classes. We'll also use this area here to process our honey in terms of honey extraction and also other classroom activity.
Now, before we go and before we end this video, there's some questions that I have for you. What led you down this path? What got you on the path to want to be, one, a farmer, but two, to share your experience with a lower income community?
Well, I have been, my organization has been involved as an advocate for childhood obesity. And for a number of years, I was trying to work in the state legislature of Alabama to make certain law changes for the school system.
Yes, sir.
And I took different laws before the legislature, and after a few years, we kept running into obstacles trying to get those laws passed. At the end of 2009, my coalition of groups that were trying to do that, they were tired. They didn't want to go back before the legislature. So I had to ask myself, what could I do to make a statement? And I said, community gardening would be the best way to do that. And from there, I launched out and made this happen. And that's kind of how I got into it.
So another question I have is, how long has your farming operation been in existence?
Right. We started out in 2010. I started out by becoming a master gardener in the cooperative extension system. I just needed some knowledge on how to do it. And that is how I was able to gain the initial knowledge and training to do what you see here. Most
Wow.
of it is self-taught, but I am also a master gardener.
Okay, and so where did you get the concepts and ideas for the
Oh.
look? Because I've taken the time to do a lot of researching before I decided to farm myself. I was the one watching the videos, and I was the one studying different farmers' techniques, and I was the one learning about different soil types and different things that you can grow in different zones across America. So because all the things that I've seen, I mentioned this to you when we first pulled up, with all the things that I've seen and I've studied, I've never seen anything that looks like this. So what gave you the idea to make your garden look as such?
Well, imitation is the biggest form of flattery. And I've been influenced by different folks that I've met over the years. I met a lady out of Birmingham. She is the director of a garden called West End Garden, We Garden, in the West End of Birmingham. Her name is Amma, and she's into beauty. And she sold me on having something that was beautiful. I was also influenced by a gentleman named Edwin Marty, who founded Jones Valley Farms in Birmingham. He also founded Hampstead Institute in Montgomery, which is now called Eat South. His concept also is reflected in what you see here in the raised beds and that sort of thing. So and also the guy out of Chicago, Milwaukee, Will Allen. He has a concept of urban gardening that I really like. This is pretty much bits and pieces of the different influences that I've had with different folks that I've met over the years.
Okay, wow. And I love the way that you're able to articulate and explain yourself so well. I mean, you make it so easy to follow you. It's very easy to follow along with you. And so, in conclusion, is there anything else you would like to say? Anything that you would like to say? And
Yeah.
also, is there any contact information that you have to put out so
Sure.
anybody who watches this video will know how to stay up with you or get
Sure.
in contact with you or make donations? Or
Sure, donations are always welcome here, but we have a partnership with the Auburn Nutrition Education Program, which means during the spring and summer we have a nutritionist that works with us here to help us with our recipe planning. You can contact us by going to my website, www.dife.us. We also have a presence on Facebook and Aunt Katie's Community Garden, and you can call us at 334-403-7165 to schedule a tour to help us. We'll help you make up a camp so you can learn a little bit more about us.
well, great. Well, guys, I'm glad that we got an opportunity to step off of our farm and take the time to come out here, because this is not about just us and our experience. This is about whoever watches this video, and I wanted to be able to show that, hey, we're not the only black farmers in the world. There's more of us. And so if you're out there, you're a young black man, young black woman, and you're afraid to get into farming because you don't feel comfortable or feel like that's your lane, I want to assure you that this is an open and inviting community. When it comes to farming, everybody is open, everybody is willing to help you, everybody wants to show you what they have going on so you can enhance yourself as a farmer. It's not like a corporate entity or something like that, or going to a big box store or something like that where they like to hold on to the trade secrets. farmers, they like to pass down their knowledge, because in farming, you want the next person to have the same quality practices that you have. And with that, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Make sure to follow us on Facebook as well, to go check out our Facebook page at Black Farmer 6, and we're gone.
All right, man.